Halloween night. A small American town, 15 years ago.
This is Castlevania on the NES, released back in 1986. Set in 1691, you play as Simon Belmont, who shows up at Dracula's pad and he's like, "Oi oi, you blood-sucking prick, I'm gonna whip your lights out!"
"Bollocks, you ain't got the guts, you look like a Conan rip-off in that get-up."
"Fuck off, mate, me mum gave me these clothes."
"Ooh, well, your mum's clothes are shite, and look at that poxy knife, what are you gonna do, butter me up?"
"I'll do worse, I'll break your fucking candlesticks off."
"Do that or I'll call the council."
So Simon goes in and breaks the candelabras and you're faced off by the mighty Transylvanian Council in the guise of various horror creatures. These creatures include zombies, leopards, fire-breathing dragon skulls, Boo of the Super Mario Brothers, creatures from the Black Lagoon, these fucking beards, fire-breathing dragon skeletons, and of course, bats. But I'd like to think there are two tiers of enemies in Castlevania without including the bosses. The ones I just mentioned would be in the average tier, nothing too hard but some can be a pain at times. The second lot are in what I call the bullshit tier, since these enemies will be responsible for lots of frustration and end up giving you lots of paranoia. There's skeletons that don't know where they're going, throwing bones at you and can get a bit unpredictable by killing themselves for some reason. These knights that takes you about 8 hits or something to kill it whilst they're throwing boomerang axes at you. These little hunchback Igor types that run into you, and because your movement is limited, it makes taking care of them a nightmare at times. And on later levels they get flown in like some commandos by these storks that are just there to make your day a fucking nuisance. Oh, fuck off. Shit. Bollocks. Christ! And these goddamn motherfucking stupid pieces of shit that are on the Medusa's heads that throw around in a zigzag manner, going in any direction they want, knocking you off platforms, knocking you into shit, making it hard to judge its path, being so frustrating to land a hit on them. And when you're jumping on platforms, you better know what you're doing because you can't stop your trajectory, and if you see a Medusa head, you're fucked. The early Castlevania games are infamous for their difficulty, and these enemies are a part of that challenging formula, and you better get used to this jingle when you die because you will hear this over and 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 over. Okay, sure. You die after only taking 4 hits. Yes, 4 hits. But that's fine since the controls are pretty solid for the most part. My only issue with them is how stiff Simon can feel at times when getting around levels, and you can only whip left or right. Sure, you can duck and jump whilst whipping, but you're never going to be able to hit anything directly above you. And there can be times where you can feel really vulnerable, such as walking upstairs or jumping from platform to platform, hoping you don't get hit since the game will gravitate you to the nearest pitfall. Also, health pickups in the shape of pork chops are very scarce and hidden behind blocks throughout its levels. Hearts are here too, but they represent ammo for your sub-weapons, like a boomerang cross, a throwing knife that nobody uses because it's a bit shit, an axe that lets you throw with an arch, holy water,
come on guys, you ain't fooling us,
a stopwatch that stops enemies, and a crucifix which kills all the baddies on screen, but by the time you get it, you've probably killed everyone there. The game spans across 6 levels split into 18 stages where you encounter every part of Dracula's castle. Despite the limits of the system, there's a lot of variety in these locations that you fight your way through, each with our own characteristics from the gothic halls of the first stage to the underground depths of the castle's caves. It gives the player an unspoken narrative, a visual indicator that progress is being made as you die constantly only to come back more determined. The music composed by Kinya Yamashita and Sato Terashima reinforces this even further by having a distinctive theme for certain sections of the game. The feeling I get from the soundtrack is, despite danger being all around you, the character's courage will always shine through. Coming back to the controls, and as crazy as it sounds, I think it makes the game better than it would had you been able to whip anywhere and not fall backwards down holes. I interpret these things as a way of making a genuine horror experience for the NES. In contrast to Dead Space, where by the end of the game you're so overpowered you can take on anything without breaking a sweat, Castlevania never gives you that luxury. You're underpowered from start to finish even with the power-ups to your whip and secondary weapons. You still die after 4 hits, and when you get a game over, you have to start from the beginning of the level. Add that risk to the behaviour of these enemies and you've got an exciting game in your hands. It just feels suitable to have a horror scenario with difficult gameplay. I mean, how many horror films are there where the protagonist is fully prepared? Not many, I'm sure. The odds are meant to be against your favour, and even though Simon Belmont is a vampire slayer, he still has trouble once he's inside the castle. And the bosses can be relentless later on, not so much with his giant bat or Medusa, but after you face the two mummies, which can be a bit tricky. The next boss is Frankenstein's monster and Eagle, which is the bane of my life since he jumps about just like those fucking hunchback! The real nettle in your dick is the Grim Reaper. Yeah, you have to fight Death himself in order to face Dracula. And being a former art student, I can't help but see the symbolism in all this, but anyway. He's a massive douchebag! Floating about wherever he pleases, summoning these sickles which follow you about constantly, and they do even stalk you that consistently, some just stay in place longer than usual, which really buggers up my judgment when it wants to go. And of course, when you die, you have to do the last part of the level, which happens to be the hardest fucking part of the game! So coming back to this guy, I'm never on full health, so I had to beat this skull fuck without getting hit twice! It took me almost 3 hours to beat this son of a bitch, but at least I'm near the end now. Alright, I fucking know, fuck! Alright, final level. Ooh, it's a big stairway. Ooh, it's proper spoopy. Fuck! Make sure to stock up on hearts to use your weapon when facing him though, as... Ignore that! So eventually you fight Dracula, but you can only hit him on the head. He opens his cape and shows off his big glowing balls at you, but you'd be like, nah, fuck that, and knock his head off. But oh shit, it's a double round! Just be sure you've got enough hearts so you can spam the fuck out of these, fire bombs. He's not as hard as his first form since he freezes for a bit when you hit him with one of those, fire bombs. To kill him, grab the red orb for some reason, and you've beaten the game to be greeted with the castle crumbling down and the credits roll. Of famous horror actors with puns in their names. Well, I never said this game was rewarding. So Castlevania has varied environments to roam about in, a very memorable soundtrack. It's a lovely homage to classic horror, but it is deviously hard and can put people off.
8 out of 10.
So that was Castlevania on the NES. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like that, just give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'll be back this Friday with a top 10 of the scariest songs in video games. Yes, that's right, I'm basically going to be extending Halloween for an extra week on my channel because I haven't uploaded enough in October, and I thought, well, fuck it, I'm just going to do more horror stuff for a bit, and then I'll get around to regular uploading and all that, okay? Also, I have a bit of a cold when recording this commentary as well, so if it sounds a little bit different, that's why. But anyway, I'll see you next time, alright? Bye, see bye!